Alright, today I'm going to give you guys a detailed look at this Iron Man Mark 46. This is from the Civil War, and this is a model kit. It's a 1/9 scale model kit from the company Morstorm? Yeah, well, I don't know. But Avengers series, plastic model kit, and look at how nice this Mark 46 looks. And from the side of the box, you can see it has accessories. And also accessories and more accessories. And on the side shows the figure, what it looks like without paint and what it looks like after it's painted. In this video I'm going to show the figure and also here the base. Alright, so let's start off with looking at the booklet, the instruction booklet. So let me put the figure away for a second, and here's what the booklet looks like. It's a really nice color printed booklet. Inside, of course, we have images of what the figure looks like. It's basically what, well, no, for the most part, most of the images are from the box, but here there are additional images showing the figure, and over here shows the figure not painted, and then one's all painted up. I didn't paint mine, so don't expect it to be painted. And the next page you have all the parts that you're gonna get from this kit, and then you're gonna start the build, and then all the way once you're done with the build, the very last page here, it shows a little more of the figure, all painted up, with showing the accessories and all that stuff. Good stuff. Alright, and here we have Mark 46 outside the packaging, and let's go over the accessories first. First, it comes with this piece right there, and then the base, which is nice. It has a bendy rod as well too, a clamp, and then the octagon base here. There's a nameplate. I took it off. Instead I just put another piece of generic silver bits on here, so now I could use it for other characters instead of just 46. And then as for other accessories, we have all these attachments for this piece right here, and then here I think these are more for the Mark 47 from that scene in Spider-Man. So yeah, I guess if you really want to, you could paint this to be Mark 47, since they both look exactly the same. So and these are just top of the hand pieces, and then we have shoulder rockets, then forearm rockets, and then a bunch of open hands, gesture hands, and then these two are just attachment clamps for if you have other other model kits, then you could attach the bases together using those two clamps right there. And then it comes with a screwdriver and a couple of springs. I'm not exactly sure what these springs are for. I don't remember seeing in the instruction about those. And then some extra pieces, and here are all the firing effect pieces, and also the attachment arms, those translucent attachment arms for the base. So there are quite a bit of stuff here, so which is cool. So more playability for this figure here. And let's take a look at the Mark 46. So here's the model kit all put together, the Mark 46. Now again, this one I did not apply any paint whatsoever, and no glue is needed either. And this is what it looks like from head to toe. It looks quite nice. Even without paint, it looks quite nice. I'm okay with it, even though it does look a bit plasticky. I'm okay with it. And you notice the go on here has been painted by the company. It wasn't painted by me, so that's the only painted part, the only painted portion of this figure, which is the go. I wish they would have painted the silver as well, so that would have been nice. Right now it's just more of a gray color. And here's the back of Mark 46. Putting this kit together took quite a bit of time. There are a lot of tiny bits, especially around the back of the neck here. Those are all individual pieces. You need to put together those red pieces. They're all individual pieces. And then the gold piece, they're all separate panels too. Same with some of the red, they're all separate panels, so you have to slot them in nicely. And then here, the back of the spine, you can see there are a lot of little tiny pieces you have to put together. All the red pieces are individual pieces, I believe, and the gold is also individual pieces. And those two circular piece, those two things, those are separate pieces. And then yeah, so just a lot of pieces, a lot of panels. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle where you have to put all these pieces on. And here's the front again, and yeah, now looking at it, there are just so many pieces I had to put on this figure, which is crazy. It does look nice though. The fact that they separate them out so you don't have to worry about painting them yourself if you so choose to, or even if you want to paint it, you won't have to mask anything. For the most part, you just have to paint all the individual pieces and then just put them all together, and you'll have a very impressive looking Iron Man figure. I just want to show you one last look before I start showing you guys articulation and all that good stuff. And this model kit is going to set you back about close to $100. This figure is 1/9 scale, so if you own any King Arts Iron Man, he should fit in quite nicely with it, because I believe the King Arts also 1/9 scale. Now, as far as posability, keep in mind this is a model kit, so you gotta be super careful when it comes to posing this figure, because there are pieces that are somewhat on the tight side, and it's not like an action figure where when you move, everything goes with it and all that stuff. You have to really be careful with it. There's light up features on this figure, which is nice. On the head, you have to press this button on his forehead and his eyes turn on, and then you just press the chest panel and his chest lights on. For the hands, it's a little bit different. They give you batteries, so you have to slot those in order to get them to work, the lights. But with the head and the chest, there are buttons where you could just press and turn them on and off, so that's nice. If you want to get to the batteries, that's another thing. It's pretty buried in, so you would have to take this figure somewhat apart in order to get to the batteries. But for now, this is fine. So after a while, I would suggest taking the batteries out, because you don't know how long those batteries will last, or before they leak or anything like that. But as far as articulation, head, I think you could look up a little bit more. Yeah, you can look that high up, so he could give you that that flying pose without any issues. And then chest, you could pull them up even more to give you that Iron Man flying pose, which is awesome right there. And one thing I don't like about the chest light is that every time you touch it, it turns on. So when you try to pose them, you touch the chest and it's gonna turn on. So that's one thing I don't like. But I do like the fact that it's so easy to get the lights on. But the other issue is that you constantly get the lights on when you're trying to pose this guy. And then shoulder pads are on a ball joint attached here. I'll show you guys. Here's the ball joint, and the ball joint right here is attached to the shoulder. It's on a hinge joint, and then this figure also has a butterfly joint. Again, see? Again, I just tap it and then the light goes on. And you can see the butterfly joint allows the arm to move outward. Same on this side. And when you put this together, you might want to loop up that joint, that butterfly joint, a little bit before you put everything else together, because it is quite stiff. I used some silicone base loop and just looped it, and now it moves quite well. And yeah, it works perfectly. And then on the back here, I believe these flaps can open up as well. This right here. See, I keep touching the chest and it keeps going on and off now. Again, golly. And I believe this panel moves up as well. Same with this side. And yeah, right there. Those panels can open up. And then the back of the neck, this piece can move a little bit. It gives, oh sorry, it's not in focus. Let me do manual instead. I think it's better. So this piece back here, it has a little give. So it allows his neck to be pulled back a little bit more, which allows him to look up. And let's see, the rest of him, you already saw the shoulders. And then, yeah, it's kind of stiff too, this arm, the joint. And then it has bicep movement, and he has double jointed elbows. Again, it's very stiff, so you gotta be a little more careful. Make sure you're holding the right places when you're moving this figure, because otherwise you might end up breaking these sections, because it is model kit type of plastic, so they're more brittle. And well, not too brittle, but you will put stress mark all over it if you aren't careful with it. And then there's the forearm piece. You take the hand off. It is on a ball joint, and then here's where you stick the little battery in here. And then once you push that in, there's a you could turn. It's just a clicking battery. You just put it in, and then it'll turn on, and then you just put your desired hand on, and you'll have them light up the repulsor blast effect. And as for the torso, let's see, it moves up and down a little bit. It gives you a little bit of range, extends a little bit, and crunch, it could give you about that much. Arch back, it's a little bit more, give you about that much. And then as for the crotch piece, right, so the way they did the crotch piece is kind of like what Mayfax did with their Mark 46. If you own that figure, then you'll know. The legs can be lowered about that much, and then here you can see you can lift that piece off, which allows him a little more range of motion for those landing poses, if you want to give them those type of poses. And then here on this panel, over on the side here, this piece can move up, which gives him even more range of motion, more room to work with. Let's see how much room he has now to push his legs up, down, forward and back, however you want. Focus up there, so you can see that's how far he could push his leg up. Well, I think he could do even more. Yeah, wow, look at that. So that panel moves out of the way. Whoops. And the hips are a little bit looser than all the other joints. And then double jointed knees, keep it like that. And then there's a ball hinge system down here, or pivot, and then move forward and back. And then back here on the heel, there's a piece that has a ball joint attached to it, and then ankles could bend. And this figure is very capable of doing a landing pose, but the head is still not far enough where he could look up. And if you want his eyes to be looking straight and not down, what you have to do is you're going to need to add a little piece of prop for his hand to make it a little longer. So yeah, I would suggest putting a piece of rock or something, and that'll help your diorama. And you know what, let me zoom out a little bit and put him back into standing pose. Yeah, like I mentioned, some of the joints, well, I think the hips is the only section where it's kind of loose. It's not the tightest. I wish it was a little tighter, or maybe a different type of joint instead of using a ball joint there. But I mean, it is what it is. One thing I don't like is this panel right here on the side. Let me zoom in and show you guys. For the most part, I am okay with all the pieces, but except for this piece right here on the side. If you don't plan on painting it, then you're gonna have an issue where you will see the little when you remove the peg, when you remove the from the what you call that piece, that framework where you have all these pieces you need to remove from. This is, you're gonna see some sort of you're gonna see some paint being taken off, because the plastic piece attached to this section here, it's all the way here. It would have been nice if they went underneath, so you won't be able to see it, but if you push it to the side, I mean, you'll still see it. So you might have to add a little bit of a touch-up on this section right here. But yeah, so overall, I like this model kit quite a bit. And turned out quite nice. And if you're willing to spend the amount on this kit, I think it's worth getting. And if you plan on painting him, he's gonna look fantastic. I'm just gonna keep him as is, like this. And I'm okay with it. I like this color. I'm okay with it, even though in person it does look a little bit plasticky, but I'm okay with it. And I don't want to mess it up, because I'm not a good painter, so I don't want to mess it up by painting it and turning it into crap. But there are a lot of work involved in this piece here. And the nice thing about it is that all the pieces are pretty much all individual. Like everything separate out. Like if you see the bicep section here, that's one piece, and then the skull piece is another, and then I think the silver, the arm, the majority of the color, majority of the arm is silver, that gray color, and you're basically putting panels over it. So that's nice. Like this piece right here, the red, that's a separate piece. Gold, red. So all the red and gold pieces are separate, and all those are panels you attach to pretty much a silver body. Alright, and here's a comparison with two other 1/9 scale figure, which is the King Arts Mark 1 and the War Machine. So you can see he is shorter, which I don't think is correct. He might be a little bit shorter than War Machine, but he shouldn't be shorter than Mark 1 though. Mark 1 should be the shortest of them all, because it is in an armor. It is the first Iron Man, so yeah, that shouldn't be it. But who knows, maybe this Iron Man is just a little too big, because King Arts and King Arts, so the War Machine shouldn't be the same height as the Mark 1 either. The Mark 1 should be a bit shorter. But putting him aside, if you're comparing the War Machine with the 46, would you think this is to scale? I'm not sure either. He looks a little bit short to fit in with the War Machine like that. I mean, I could see him being a tad bit smaller, but because War Machine, it's War Machine, so he should be really bulky, right? But I think they should be pretty much the same height. So the model kit, either the model kit is a little small, or the King Arts is just a little big. So yeah, but those are the only ones I could compare with that are 1/9 scale. So it is what it is. So there you go. The 1/9 scale model kit Iron Man Mark 46 by Morstorm, I think. Morstorm. Morstorm? I don't know. But there you go. Cost $90. Is it worth it? I think it's okay. It was fun putting it together. It took about, what, a good 9-10 hours for me to put this thing all together. But it is fun to put together because you do get to see everything, how this thing is being put together, and so you understand all the articulation points and everything else. So there you go. Thanks for watching.